I look like sick Leon from Resident Evil Requiem. Minus the handsome face, of course. Like, I mean, that guy is just so majestic. I just finished Resident Evil Requiem yesterday, and I've just been pondering about the game and thinking, and I feel this emptiness after you finish your favorite show or your favorite game. Yeah, that. And it's time that I do a review about it. So, this is Resident Evil Requiem spoiler review. So if you haven't played it or you don't want any spoilers, please click off now. Now, for a little bit of context, the first horror game that I ever played in my life was Resident Evil 4 back on the PlayStation 2. I was 5 years old at the time, and I just fell in love with that game. And then I went ahead and played all the previous Resident Evil games that were available at the time, and I fell in love even harder. So this franchise means a lot to me because I grew up with the franchise. I played every single Resident Evil game, all 29 of them, and they are some of my favorite games of all time. So I'm going to split this video in a couple categories. We're going to be talking about Grace, we're going to be talking about Leon, we're going to be talking about the story, and we're going to be talking about the gunplay. Starting off with Grace. Grace is an absolutely amazing character in Resident Evil Requiem. She is so damn captivating, and she's so interesting. She's an FBI agent. Her mom is the legacy character, Alyssa Ashcroft, although they don't really go too deep into that. It's just nice seeing Alyssa again. And just in general, her whole story in this game is very fucking interesting. Angela Santalbano, who is the voice actress for Grace, is absolutely phenomenal. The way she conveys emotion, whether it's happy, sad, or, you know, scared, angry, whatever, is so fucking genuine. You actually feel it.
Yes, I want to report a murder. No murders. Grace, yes. The Renwood Hotel. Yes. Hurry, please.
Like, your emotion starts to mimic what Grace's emotion is going through, if that makes any sense. It's absolutely amazing, and she killed it as Grace. Next up, we got the man himself, Leon S. Kennedy. Or should I say Leon the GOAT Kennedy, because he is the GOAT. Yes, he is the same Leon we all know and love from the previous games. He's absolutely fucking badass. He's always aura farming. He has cheesy one-liners.
I think I want a second opinion.
He is drop dead fucking gorgeous handsome, legit, like he's always been. And he's a bad fucking ass. Like, he is absolutely fucking amazing. Leon is a little bit old now. He's a little bit rough on the edge. You know, he got a little stubble. He has his wrinkles. It's very sad to see, especially, you know, when you grew up with the characters and whatnot, especially with Leon. He's my favorite character. So it was kind of like sad to see him a little bit aged up, but don't get me wrong, he might be 51, but let me tell you, he still got it. Nothing else to say really about Leon. We all know who Leon is. Most of us are playing this game mostly because of Leon. Let's be honest. And he did not disappoint in this game. Moving on to the story. So the story for me was actually pretty good. It was very interesting. I can't believe that Resident Evil has been going for so long, 30 years now. And they are still putting out some bangers. Like, they never really dimmed down, if you know what I mean. Besides Resident Evil 6. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. I'm not going to explain the story in full detail. I mean, this is a spoiler review, so I'm assuming that you guys played it. But basically, Grace is investigating this area because she works with the FBI. She gets kidnapped by a character named Victor Gideon, who is this crazy scientist, cultist, whatever, doing this sort of experiments. And this is how we get the mutated T-virus. And he kidnaps Grace because he believes Grace is the key to something called Iblis. Leon is back in Raccoon City, obviously in this game, but the way he goes to Raccoon City is because he's looking for Grace to try and save her. And also he has a little bit of a survival's guilt, you could say, because there's a lot of people he couldn't save in Raccoon City, and that's where it all started for him. So it's kind of sad, and he has this guilt that he can't get rid of because of that incident that happened in Raccoon City. You know the whole thing, September 30th, 1998. You know, that whole shtick.
September 30th, 1998.
Victor Gideon, the main villain in this game, is absolutely phenomenal. He's so menacing and has this presence, yet he's very calm and very sophisticated for a guy who's infected. You know, he's not your typical zombie. He's very articulate, and he's very fucking tall and huge. And like, he has this presence on him, and it's very fucking good. Also, the voice actor for him absolutely killed it.
The special one, the chosen one, Miss Ashcroft.
I also liked Emily, the little girl character who's blind. Her story is so interesting, and she's so cute and tiny, and her relationship with Grace and the bond that they develop through the game is absolutely phenomenal. And her death scene, Emily's death scene, because she's not really dead by the end of it, really did hit me because of that bond and because I saw how Grace felt when she died. Also, Zeno, which is just Albert Wesker at this point, right? Holy shit, Albert Wesker is in the game, legit. It's a clone probably or something, because they never really call him Albert Wesker. They call him Zeno. But I mean, he looks and talks and acts and the same powers like Albert Wesker. So he's just Albert Wesker. And I was absolutely mind blown when I was playing the game.
Raccoon City.
He is so fucking cool, and he has this drip, and just, it's so good seeing Albert Wesker-ish again, and it's just fucking amazing. His scenes are absolutely amazing. Spencer also is here in a way, and it's good to see the OGs back. And in general, it's a very fun and interesting story. Now, Resident Evil has never been known for its groundbreaking story and whatnot. It's always been like a B cheese movie or something like kind of like that. So like it's not being, oh my gosh, so groundbreaking, but again, it's very, very fun. It's also very entertaining, and it is actually interesting. Like there's some segments in the game, in the story, it's very, very interesting, like, you know, Leon being infected and the whole thing with Grace. Is she an experiment? Is she real? All of that. So it does make you wonder a little bit, although it is kind of predictable in a way, but it still is pretty fucking good. Speaking of the story, let's talk about the things that we all are excited, or were excited to see, which is RPD, Raccoon City. What's it like almost 30 years later? Raccoon City is literally the same layout, technically, as the Resident Evil 2 remake. It's just fucking blown out, like, obviously, because they fucking nuked the place. And when you go to the RPD specifically, that whole street, you can see everything from Resident Evil 2 remake. And Resident Evil 2, you know, bombed the fuck out, and, you know, it's rusted, it's decaying, it's a fucking dead zone, basically. And it's so fucking surreal and very, very nostalgic to people who are new, like the people who played Resident Evil 2 remake, and the people who played the OGs. And it's absolutely wonderful. Like, if you're a hardcore Resident Evil fan, you play these other games, and you play this one, and you reach the RPD part, and that whole street area, you're playing Resident Evil Requiem for the first time, but it still feels familiar, and it's so fucking good. Like, Kendo's gun shop is still here, and it's still the exact same position, and there's also a little bit of notes in there, and what happened in Kendo, the whole thing with the father and the daughter, it's all still there. There's still a nod there. There's a flashback there. Like, it's just absolutely incredible. The RPD is still standing firm, although it's fucking rusted and it's broken down, but the layout is still exactly the same. And when you enter the RPD, the sense of nostalgia and the score that plays when you enter is just absolutely majestic, and it's so surreal and it's so beautiful. It's such a love letter to the Resident Evil hardcore fans. It's absolutely beautiful. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it's exactly the same. The soundtrack. The soundtrack, you can hear it. In the RPD, you could see, you know, the heart door, and then you can see the puzzles that led you to the secret underground area, and it's just amazing. You see the original typewriter and the original storage, which was in Resident Evil 2 OG and remake, in the same exact positions, but you can't really use them, and it's just so fucking beautiful. And then you go to the famous library, where I swear to God, as soon as I entered the library, I was like, I better not hear any stomps, because the library is very famously known as Mr. X's favorite place to chase you. The most inconvenient place. You see Leon's nameplate in the office and some notes about how his colleagues were planning to do this, you know, first day rookie Leon S. Kennedy joining the RPD. It's just absolutely amazing. Like I said, it's such a love letter to the Resident Evil hardcore fans. Like, it's just chef's kiss. And also, fun fact, if you didn't know this, because I missed it when I was initially playing through the RPD area, but when I went back and watched my own recording of me playing, I actually saw there is an actual Easter egg of the legend himself, Tofu. He literally sneaks up outside the window and then he just vanishes and makes a little bit of a noise. And it's just so fucking peak. If you're a true OG Resident Evil fan, you would know who Tofu is. The most badass of the badasses. And on top of all of this, they had the chutzpah to even bring back Mr. X. Yes, I said it. Mr. X is back. Oh my gosh, his entrance was absolutely fucking crazy. I was literally in the library saying, I better not hear Mr. X come in. I better not hear the footsteps. And then what do you know? He fucking appears in that one cutscene. And then there's a little fucking nod to the Resident Evil 2 gameplay, which is, you know, Mr. X following you around the RPD, and it happens here as well in the game when you're trying to escape it. It's so fucking good. And the way Leon interacts with the whole area and Mr. X and whatnot is just so fucking good.
I remember you. Oh, God. I remember that, too.
The fan service in this game is absolutely incredible and beautiful and just very, very heartwarming and very nostalgic, and it's just, like, it was just absolute perfection. And then later on in the story, when you're playing as Grace and Leon, you get to face the fucking Lickers in a lab. Like, the Lickers are back as well. Like, I can't make this shit up. This is so fucking hype. They even make you fight against fucking Hunk in the lab. Leon versus Hunk. Yes, you heard me right. They actually made that shit happen. You get to face off against Human Unit Never Killed, Hunk. It's absolutely crazy. And the voice dialogue interactions between them is so fucking good. And it's so hype. And then you have a boss fight with Hunk. Just pure melee.
Leon Kennedy. We finally meet. I didn't realize I had such a big fan. How about an autograph? I heard you were a smartass.
To settle the debate of the age-old question who would win between Leon and Hunk, and whether you know, Leon comes out on top, while still acknowledging that Hunk was a tough fucking bastard.
Ran into trouble. This guy was one tough bastard.
Coming from you, that's quite the compliment.
Like, even Hunk got the respect to his name. And yes, Hunk has finally been killed. Human Unit Never Killed, no more. And there isn't a better way to kill him off than by Leon S. Kennedy. Like, it's just perfect. I can go on and on and on about the stuff that I really liked about the story and the interactions and stuff like that, but this video would be fucking 15 hours long, and, you know, I don't want to waste your time. I would love to waste my time, but I don't want to waste your time. Moving over to the gameplay department, and it is absolutely amazing. The switch that happens when you play between first-person Grace and third-person Leon is so fucking bizarre, and it's such a whiplash that literally makes your fucking head rock back and forth. Like, it is crazy. You go from Grace, you know, the typical Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8 horror first-person vibe with, you know, the slow pacing and all the scary factors happening and the intense horror scenes that those games capitulated on. Like, you're shitting buckets and you're pissing your pants as if Negan is literally knocking on your door and saying,
"Pissing our pants yet?"
Like, it is, goes from that, and then you switch over to Leon, which is whole high action, octane, badass, cheesy one-liners, fucking majestic goodness. And all that fucking stress and anxiety and horror that you build up with Grace. When you switch to Leon, it's time to put all of those to good use, and you then just rip it off on everybody else. Like, it is cinema. It is pure, pure cinema. You go from running away from the zombies and the horror and everything with Grace to fucking the zombies running away from Leon because Leon is about to absolutely dismantle them all. And you're about to dismantle them all because of all the shit you had to go through with Grace, and now you're gonna release all of them with Leon. Like, That whole gameplay mechanic they went for absolutely fucking worked, and it's fucking crazy. The whole blood mechanic with Grace that was implemented in this game is very new and very interesting, and I found it very exciting. You can craft bullets, you can craft medical ejectors, hematic injectors, grenades, and so on and so forth, and they just make the game feel very fresh because it's a very new mechanic that we haven't seen before. And talking about Grace's gameplay, also the inventory being so small and so compact does add to the horror intensity because there's a big area you have to explore, like for example the whole fucking mansion that was there, and it's such a big area, and if you like to explore everything, there's a lot of times where you're gonna have to retrace, put your stuff in a storage, and then go back and pick them up because of such a small inventory. And it just adds to that anxiety, to that stress, to that dread of going back and forth, and it's just chef's kiss. With Grace, the gunplay feels smooth, the classic Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8, and it's still amazing here. The horror is absolutely amazing. I wouldn't say Grace's horror is like Resident Evil 7 horror. I still believe Resident Evil 7 is the scariest game of the franchise, but I do believe the horror here is more scary than Resident Evil 8 or Resident Evil Village. Like, I truly believe that. I was stressing way more in this game than I ever did with Resident Evil 8, so if you like more scariness and you don't like Resident Evil 8 because of the scare factor not really being there, I think this you'll be satisfied with. Now moving over to the Leon gameplay department, it's your classic Resident Evil 2, more Resident Evil 4, Leon gameplay. You got a big ass fucking briefcase inventory, you got charms that you can attach to weapons which gives you certain boosts, weapon upgrades and all that good stuff. And although there's some like stressy out segments when you play as Leon, it's not anywhere as close as when you play Grace, because guess what, you're playing Leon, and if you're playing Leon, there's absolutely nothing that can make you scared. It's Leon S. Kennedy. They are afraid of you. The new chainsaw mechanic in this game, the whole fucking hatchet mechanic of this game with Leon, and how you can basically actually swing with it, and then when it breaks, you can just sharpen the edge off of the hatchet during gameplay, during mid-combat, by the way, and then you can just continue on and on. Like, it is so fucking peak. Like, you can literally aura farm in this game. It's absolutely sickening. So the new animations here with Leon's combat is absolutely incredible. The slow leg kick and the environmental interactions and the environmental finishers in this game is very, very nice, and it's so fucking good. Like, it is crispy. I do have one tiny complaint with Leon's gameplay, is that for me the gunplay doesn't really feel as smooth with the transitions and the animations as Resident Evil 4 Remake. I don't know why, but with Resident Evil 4 Remake, when you shoot the infected or the Las Plagas or whatever, right, and you do the classic, shoot the feet and then, roundhouse kick them and whatnot, it felt smoother to do it in Resident Evil 4 Remake than it did here. For me, sometimes here it felt a little bit choppy and not as refined. I don't know if that's just me or not, but that's what I felt. I wouldn't say the combat or the gunplay is the problem. I would just say that the animations don't really transition as smooth as Resident Evil 4 Remake. And I went back to Resident Evil 4 Remake as soon as I finished Resident Evil Requiem, and I felt it. Like, in Resident Evil 4 Remake, I felt like everything was just smoother in a way, if it makes any sense. Now, don't get me wrong, the combat, the animations, everything is still fucking amazing. I just feel like it went back a little bit, it regressed a little bit when it comes to the transitions and the smoothness of the animations, so to speak, than in Resident Evil 4 Remake. Some of my favorite Leon moments in this game is pretty much everything. He's so fucking good at this game, like, I can't fucking make this shit up. But the highlight is easily the whole Raccoon City, sort of semi-open world, you could say, because you get to explore a lot of the deserted Raccoon City, and obviously the RPD, just absolute perfection. It really is. Like, it's so good. Also, one final note that I really liked about this game is that with Leon, the game encourages you to kill every single fucking person that you see, because the way that you upgrade your weapons and buy new weapons and repairs and whatnot is by like a credit system you wear on your wrist, and every time you get a kill you get a certain credit, and that's how you get your pesetas basically equivalent in this game. And it's so fucking good. The game is literally telling you, hey, kill as much as you want, and it's so fucking good. Leon's gameplay never gets boring, and with that added incentive to go ahead and finish everyone that you see is just absolute perfection. Now, last thing I wanted to talk about here is some of the stuff that I didn't really like, or some of the stuff I think that they could have, improved a little bit on. Obviously, the first thing is the whole animation not being as buttery and smooth as Resident Evil 4 Remake. That's more of a nitpick, I think, I guess. But another thing that actually pissed me off, like this is a genuine complaint, is that we never really fight Nero or Albert Wesker. We don't get that. We see this badass fucking Albert Wesker fucking character, and oh my gosh, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get a Leon versus Albert Wesker. And it just never really happens. There is no boss fight with him. There is nothing. He gets built up and we see his fucking powers and cutscenes and he's so fucking badass and we're like, oh my gosh, this is it. And it builds up and builds up and builds up and then you reach that final mission, so to say, and you don't really fight with him. Fucking Victor just has a disagreement with him based on the ending that you choose. Now the actual canon ending is to release Elpis because it's not really a virus. It turns out to be a fucking cure for the infected and whatnot for the T-virus. So just in case you don't know that. And then after that, he has a disagreement with Victor Gideon, who's still alive. And then Victor Gideon just fucking slashes his head off. And then that's that. Like, that's it. And we don't get anything. You don't really fight. There's no boss fight with Albert Wesker. And I was really looking forward to that. And we just never really got that. It left such a sour taste in my mouth. I was like, oh, really? Really? We were so close to having that Leon versus Albert Wesker. And we never got to do that. Like, it's so... Like, it was kind of disappointing. And another thing that I really, really hate about this game, I'm using the H word over here, okay? Is that I just want more. You know, a game is so good when you finish it and it's not the longest game in the world, but it's also not the shortest game in the world. Depends on how you play, if you're a completionist or whatnot. I have 17 hours on the game. It took me first playthrough basically, and that's with me exploring everything. And I missed a bunch of stuff, but I really tried my best to explore everything, and that took me 17 hours, which is still a pretty good time, I would say, especially for a Resident Evil game. And I just want more, and it's just so good. Such a phenomenal game. All in all, Resident Evil Requiem is a must play. If you're a hardcore Resident Evil fan, this game, there's no excuse for you not to be playing it. Like, trust me, it's a must. And even if you are a casual Resident Evil fan or whatnot, it's still an amazing game to play, 100% must buy. And if you like horror games in general, again, it's a must play. If this is your first Resident Evil game, you don't have to play everything else. It will be preferable, but you can get into it without knowing a lot of stuff from the past games. Like, it can be its own thing. It's just that you won't get a lot of the references. Capcom, you're absolutely amazing, and I just want to say thank you for this amazing game. You really didn't let us down. This game was worth the hype, worth the wait, and oh my gosh, it was just so fucking good. It was very, very entertaining, very nice to play, and it was just very heartwarming, and so just thank you. Also, I'm so glad Leon didn't die. Well, I mean, in the other ending, he does die. And my reaction to that was fucking diabolical because I picked that reaction first, because in my head, when the choice came in, I was like, I'm gonna do what Leon wants. Leon wants me to destroy the cure? Okay, I'm destroying the cure, like, legit. And then I find out he dies, and even the way he dies is so fucking sad. Like, he's like, at least I saved you. Like, it tore me apart, and I was trying my best not to fucking cry on camera because I just don't like that, and I was just holding it in.
At least I could save you.
No, no. Until I did the canon ending, and he doesn't die, and he is cured. Oh my gosh, I was just very fucking relieved. I was genuinely relieved. I was super scared that Leon was gonna die in this game, and I'm not ready for that. Not ever. My favorite Resident Evil game is Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 4 Remake. They're both, I put them together because they're the same game. And it still is my favorite game, don't get me wrong. I don't believe Resident Evil Requiem, for me, is better than Resident Evil 4 Remake or OG Resident Evil 4. But I am a little bit biased to Resident Evil 4 OG and 4 Remake because, I mean, it's the first Resident Evil game that I played, let alone it's the first horror game that I ever played, so it's very hard for any game to top that. But I 100% believe that Resident Evil Requiem is a top 5 Resident Evil game. For sure. My list would probably be Resident Evil 4, OG Resident Evil 4 Remake at number 1. The second place would be Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 2 Remake on number 2. And my third place would be Resident Evil 3 OG, just OG. I would put Resident Evil Requiem at number 4. I genuinely, as a whole, I think it's a better game than Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8, in my opinion. But yeah, that's basically all the stuff that I wanted to yap about. I love this game so much. And yeah, this is my Resident Evil Requiem review. But that's it from me, guys. If you like this sort of content where I just sit down here, yap about a bunch of stuff, whether it's video games, animes, hopefully soon movies and TV shows, I would appreciate if you guys hit that subscribe button, maybe like the video and share it with a couple of your friends who have similar interests as we do. But that's it from me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.